Ann McGill has been a news anchor at Live 5 News for the past 18 years. And just recently, she became the 6 p.m. co-anchor with Bill Sharpe on Live 5 News at 6. I speak exclusively with Ann for a special edition of Quintin's Close-Ups. And be sure to download the free Quintin's Close-Ups app in your Apple or Google Play stores. And of course, listen to this interview tomorrow on iHeartRadio. And as always, subscribe to this YouTube channel. Ann McGill, welcome back to Quintin's Close-Ups.
It is good to be back with you again. It's been a long time since we've talked.
That's right.
Where you been? What took you so long to get back to me?
There's a lot going on in this town. It never stops. But, besides interviews, of course, I've seen you a lot at my restaurant. Well, not my restaurant, the restaurant I work for, Phi Church.
Yes,
and
I love Phi Church.
Yeah.
I do. I really do, yeah.
And
it's so beautiful in there, I didn't know what to expect. And you walk in and, it's inside of a church. And then, the book written on the ceiling is like, whoa, that is just so neat. Right. I love it. Right. Yeah.
And you were just there. I ran into you today. I was working.
Exactly.
And, I love the grilled chicken club there. And there's some other great things there as well.
The braided ravioli. Yes. Oh, yeah, that's definitely, you've got to try the braided ravioli at Phi Church. It's good stuff.
It really is good stuff. And you talk about good stuff. Obviously, you're the new 5 and 6 o'clock anchor here at Channel 5.
Yes, I'm very excited. It's great. Debbie Chard retired. And she's doing great. She came back to visit us a couple of weeks ago. Yeah. She's loving retirement, getting a chance to spend more time with her husband and her children, and just to do what she wants to do. She's certainly a tough act to follow, but she was so kind and so gracious toward me from day one when I started here at Live 5 News. And it's been a while. This October, I will have been here for 18 years.
Wow.
Yeah, it's been 18 years.
I remember when you first came in,
you
took over for Carolyn Murray.
Yeah, exactly. So I've been here for a bit and really glad that the station had the confidence in me to move me into the position where Debbie was. So I really, really am appreciative of that.
You talk about 18 years. What is the biggest difference between 18 years ago and now when you think of the local television news business?
Technology, this kind of stuff. It is amazing to me. We had to be hardwired. If we wanted to do a live shot somewhere, you had to run wires from your live truck or your satellite truck inside of the building, literally where you wanted to do that live shot. And now we can pick up our cell phones and go live anywhere, any time of the day, for as long as we can get a signal. Technology has changed our business so much. It's made it so much more competitive. I think that it has made it certainly a lot more immediate, because again, instead of having to wait for a live truck to get there, as long as you can get there, get close enough with your car, walk the distance to the actual scene, you can go live and bring that information to people right there on the spot. So the big difference, hands down, is technology. It's just amazing.
It really is. And you talk obviously about competitiveness. Channel 5 has been in really all of our lives for the past 66 years. Where are you emotionally with that?
It's wonderful that I get to work here because I also grew up at this station. I grew up in Williamsburg County, just an hour and a half up the road, up 52. So I grew up with Bill Sharpe and John Andrucci. I don't know if you remember him, and Carol Godwin.
Right.
Of course, everybody knows, Charlie Hall, but I remember all of those other folks here growing up as a little girl in a rural area, growing up on a tobacco farm. And we watched Channel 5 every evening. My parents, it was must-see TV. And we sat down and we watched the news as a family. And so I grew up with all of these people. So it really does kind of blow my mind that now I remember when I got the job here at Channel 5 and I told Bill Sharpe, I was like, I remember watching you and growing up with you, and now I get to sit next to you and actually, still do the news. Oh, look at me knocking over our technology here.
You're fine.
So it's truly, it's a dream come true. Wow. It's a dream come true because I never imagined that I would be at this station. I wanted to be in news and I wanted to make an impact wherever I was going to, but I wasn't sure that it would be here at Live 5 News, especially because I got my TV start in North Carolina.
Yes.
So I kind of thought I might have stayed there, but South Carolina was calling me back home, and things worked out perfectly. You know, the stars just aligned.
Right.
When I made up my mind that I was going to leave my station in North Carolina for another opportunity, I didn't have one lined up. And so I started looking, and I was like, oh, let me just look on Channel 5 and let me see if they have anything. And I saw that there was an opening, and I thought, no one ever leaves Live 5 News. You know, this is for me.
Right.
And it was for me. It was great. So the fact that I got to come back home and work for the station that I grew up watching really is wonderful.
Wonderful. You talk about must-see television. Why is Channel 5 must-see TV in the era of social media and technology?
You know what? I think it's because we still, you know, the personalities and the faces that you trust on TV are also the people who are writing those stories that you're seeing on our website.
Right.
And that you're also seeing in those Facebook posts and on Instagram. I'm not as well versed with Instagram. I'm trying to get there. But, you know, if there is a big story that's happening and it's posted on our Facebook page or on our website, all of us, we're all sharing it because this is important information that our viewers need to know. And we understand now that not everyone watches TV. You know, people's lives are so busy. Honestly, some people don't have time to watch TV. So when they have 5 minutes, maybe they're sitting at the doctor's office, maybe they're in between meetings, you know, they're checking their phones to see what's happening at home. So we understand that, and so we want that information to be readily available for them at their convenience. So when they have a moment to see what's going on in the world, then the information is there for them. So I think that's why it is, because they know that that same team that's working with us on air to bring them that news and information each and every day, you know, hour by hour, that's the same team that's also bringing them that news and information on our website. And we have such a great team here. It's amazing because we now have a digital team, which, you know, 5-6 years ago, there was no such thing in TV. There was no digital team. But this is a dedicated team of serious journalists that maintain our website, that maintain our Facebook page, that maintain our Twitter, and that maintain Instagram. Again, so that when you need that information, it's there for you. I start making it a habit. You know, before I leave work every evening now at 6:30, I'm checking our Twitter to see if there are any accidents being reported so that I'll know if I'm going to get tied up or if I need to take a different direction. But the technology has certainly is a big game changer in the news business these days.
These days. You talked earlier about checking phones. Obviously, I did that overnight of that particular tragedy. And I'm talking about Mother Emanuel 4 years ago. Where are your emotions now, 4 years ago?
You know, it was so unbelievable that something like that could happen. I almost couldn't process it. It was hard to imagine. I had never, I think I had an opportunity to be in a couple of news conferences with Senator Pinckney. So I knew his name and I knew his face. I didn't have a lot of contact with him, but I believe I had been involved with some, again, news conferences where he was available. I didn't know any of the other folks, but I had been in Mother Emanuel. I've done programs there. And it was just, I just couldn't fathom that something like that could happen there and to that degree. So for a long time for me, it was just hard to process. It was like I was kind of stuck in my emotions. It's like I was in this kind of weird place. It's like I couldn't cry. It's like I couldn't grieve because it's like I just couldn't even imagine that really, really happened. And it also happened just a few weeks after the passing of my mother. So I again, was just my emotions were already just sort of all over the place with dealing with that because she died so quickly. She was diagnosed the end of March with cancer, and 6 weeks later she was gone. So it's like by the time we could get used to the fact that she was very ill, she was out of our lives. And then Mother Emanuel happened shortly after that, and it was just very, very difficult. And also on that same day, my son's godfather died. So we just had a lot of stuff already happening in our lives. And I think maybe for me, maybe it was that mental protection thing. I was like, I can't quite take one more thing because that really might just kind of push me over. Um, so it's like I just couldn't really process it. And it was just this sort of numbness. I think that's what it is, just this sort of numbness. But now 4 years later, and I did go to see the documentary, and I'm glad I did. I hesitated because I was concerned that I might come out of there feeling so heavy-hearted, maybe even feeling a little bit distraught or a little bit of, doom. But I actually left it feeling very hopeful and uplifted. I'm glad that I saw it, and it helps to put things in perspective. And the person in that story who had the biggest impact on me was Reverend Thompson.
Right.
He talked about how his wife was so happy that day.
Yeah, she was.
So happy that day. And how now looking back, he realizes that she knew that she would be going to glory that day. And I can so identify with that because I had a friend when I was in high school. He was a few years younger than I was, so I would say that he was my little brother. And he died a very tragic accident, and he was killed. He was killed in that accident. And I thought back over that day with Kevin when he died. Kevin was so happy. He was so happy, and he even told me. He said, "I won't be here tomorrow." And I said, "Where are you going?" And he said, "You'll find out." And it was around a holiday, and I was like, "Oh, you're just going to go visit some relatives." And he said, "No, I'm not." And I said, "Where are you going?" And he's like, "You'll find out." And the very next day he died. And I just kept thinking, oh my gosh, he knew this was really going to happen. He said these words to me. He knew that this was going to happen. But what was a relief is, again, he was in such good spirits. He wasn't sad about his future. So I'm like, you know what? He's in a good place. So because of that, I'm in a good place.
Good place.
Yeah.
You talk about the future. I know when I interviewed you for Quintin's Close-Ups, I guess 6-7 years ago, and I just went back and looked at it today while I was on Coleman Boulevard.
Mm-hmm.
But you basically said, hey, you want to help people with their finances because a lot of people are in debt and they need help.
Yeah.
Where are we with that now as far as people and their finances?
Well, you know what? It's probably been about 10 years now. My husband and I did the Dave Ramsey program.
Right.
And so we share that with people. So I actually teach Dave Ramsey classes at my church. Yeah. And we've actually added another program on now. There's one by he's a pastor out of New Jersey. And we also teach his class, and his program is called Say Yes to No Debt. And really good program, sure. Basically the same concept. He's a big Dave Ramsey fan. Yeah. So personally, I am trying to make that difference with folks, with bringing up the subject to them of, what are you doing with your money?
Right.
Are you saving for your future? Are you spending money, needlessly right now? Could you be doing better with the things that God has given you,
That's right. That's right.
And it's so funny because some people say, the Lord just won't bless me. And I'm like, well, because you're not doing the best with what you already have. He wants to make sure he wants to make sure that whatever he gives you, right, you're going to do your best with it, not just for yourself, but for others as well. So yes. So personally, I am still working on that campaign and that mission to help people to financially get their lives in order.
Yes, desperately needed. How do you write your future 5 to 10 years from now with a headline?
Retired. Not quite. My son will 5 years from now will just be out of high school, so we've got a little bit more to go. But I hope that my future, the impact will, the headline would read, still making a difference, still having an impact. I just did a series of stories a couple of weeks ago, kind of going on that, financial journey thing. I post jobs on my Facebook page. And I sincerely do that because I want to help people. So I thought, what's better than having your ideal job and working for someone else? It would be working for yourself. So I found 4 folks who quit their day jobs and started their own businesses, and they pursued their passion. So I called it Turning Your Passion into a Paycheck. Yeah. And it was so insightful and so eye-opening. Every day people go to work, but they've got these ideas in their head of something else that they could do, and something else that they're already doing, maybe on a part-time basis or just on a casual basis. And they were like, maybe I can make a living doing this. And so these 4 folks actually did that, and I loved it. It got great response from our viewers, from my Facebook audience.
Right.
You know, they were like, we want to see more of this, and so maybe I will try to do some more.
Yes.
But I really wanted to just let people know, you know, if you've got that thing that's nudging at you, if you've got something that's nagging at you and constantly in the back of your mind, maybe you need to give it a shot. Maybe you need to really look at it and sit down, write out a plan, and execute a plan, and make it happen.
Make it happen.
Yeah.
What else is your passion these days?
My passion is still just making an impact and helping people, you know, and I do sincerely mean that.
Yes.
You know, if I can help you, I really want to try to help
Yeah.
you. Sometimes I can't always help. You know, a lady called me the other day. She had an issue, and there was honestly nothing I could do for her. I did try to point her in the right direction
Right.
to perhaps where she could find some more information and get the resources that she needed. But if I can help you, I'm there to help you.
Yeah,
I'm very passionate about that.
That's so
Yes.
amazing.
Yeah.
Well, Ann McGill, thank you so much for your time. I really, really appreciate this, and welcome back again to Quintin's Close-Ups.
Thank you very much. Good to see you.
Likewise, I'll see you at 5 Church soon.
Okay. All right, everybody. You've got to check out 5 Church for sure.
That's right. Thank you.
You're welcome.
I appreciate it.